hydrocolloids. So, a colloid is a substance that is microscopically dispersed uniformly throughout another substance. A colloidal system contains two phases, that is a dispersed phase and a dispersion phase. So, if the dispersion phase of the colloidal system is water, it is a hydrocolloid. That is why hydro. There are two types of hydrocolloids that we have. One is agar, the other is alginate. So, coming to your reversible hydrocolloids. So reversible ones would be reversible, elastic, mucostatic, like we discussed in our classification earlier. So coming to the composition. So it would be agar, potassium sulfate, borax, alkyl benzoate, fillers like clay, silica, wax, water, color and flavoring flavors. And the functions are described here. I don't want to, emphasize on them because that would be a waste of time. You can read from my slides over here. Then coming to what basically happens. So the physical change of agar from salt to gel is induced by lowering the temperatures. The gel liquefies to salt when it is heated to a temperature which is known as your liquefaction temperature. That is between 70 to 100 degrees Celsius. And when the salt is cooled, it becomes a gel at a point known as your gelation temperature. That is between your 37 degrees to 50 degrees. This is called your reversible hydrocolloid. That is, with the change in temperature, this all can be reversed. If the temperature is too high, the salt may injure the oral tissues, and if the gelation temperature is too low, that is below the oral tissues, it will make it impossible for the impression to convert. So the strength is time dependent. It is greater at higher rate of loading. Impression needs to be removed with a snap. It is directly related to your brush heat density, that is the concentration of agar which you have. It is inversely related to temperature. So your compressive strength is this much, your tear strength is this, like I have mentioned here. Then after you make the impression, you have to store it also. So it is basically stored in 2% of potassium sulfate in 100% relative humidity. And you need to pour the impression immediately because in air it loses water by evaporation and there is shrinkage, and in water, if you keep it in water, it expands, that is imbibition. So basically imbibition and syneresis is also asked in your viva, so you can understand what happens here. So coming to your flexibility, it is 4 to 15% under 14.2 psi stress. So this all, you need to learn all these values, etc. a little. Rest you can basically understand what each material, is made up of and how it is different from the other, how you need to make the impression. That is most important, what I feel. Then compatibility with gypsum, it is known to be more compatible than your alginate. Then coming to how we have to make the impression. So this process requires a 3-compartment conditioning unit like we are seeing here in the picture. So basically what happens is for the agar-3 material, this conditioning system allows liquefaction, storage and tempering. That is why there are 3 compartments. The first step in the impression making is to liquefy the hydrocolloid gel in the tube in the boiling water at 100 degrees Celsius for a minimum of 10 minutes. Then we have to place this tube in the storage bath at 65 degrees Celsius to retain the salt condition until it is required for use. For immediate preparation step, The impression tray is filled with the hydrocolloid salt from the tube taken from the storage bath. A gauge pad is placed over the top of the tray material and the tray is placed in the water filled with tempering compartment at about 45 degrees Celsius of the conditioning unit. The tempering time is about 3 to 10 minutes. Just so it is sufficient to ensure that all the material has reached a lower temperature. In case the loaded tray, in case you have loaded the tray, so you should never uh, leave it in the water bath for more than 10 minutes, as partial gelation can also occur. So just before tempering the tray material is completed, the syringe material is taken directly from the storage compartment and then you need to apply it around the tooth. Then the syringe material is never tempered again, since it must be maintained in a fluid state to enhance the adaptation of your tissues. Normally, your temperature of the syringe material is cooled sufficiently as it is extruded so that it is comfortable for your patient. The syringe material is first applied to the base of the preparation and then the remainder of the prepared tooth is covered. The tip of the syringe is held close to the tooth and it remains embedded below the surface of the syringe material to prevent entrapment of bubbles. You have to keep that in mind as well. Then a water-soaked outer layer of the hydrocolloid loaded tray and the gauze covering the tray impression material are removed to ensure firm bonding of your syringe hydrocolloid. Then the tray is immediately brought into position, seated with light pressure and held with a very light force. As too much pressure may displace the syringed agar salt from the tooth and distort the impression. Then your gelation is accelerated by circulating cool water, approximately 18 to 21 degrees, through the tray for 3 to 5 minutes. During the gelation process, the tray must be held in the mouth until the gelation has proceeded to a point at which the gel strength is sufficient to resist deformation or fracture. Then coming to your construction of the cast. So hardening solution is your 2% potassium sulfate. Like I told earlier, potash alum could be used, zinc sulfate, magnesium sulfate can be used, as this all accelerates the setting of gypsum. And it reacts with your gel and prevents your syneresis. After you have poured the stone, it should be placed in a humidator for about 30 to 60 minutes in contact with your podcast. Then how you need to disinfect it? Again, you can immerse it in 2% glutaraldehyde, use iodophos, etc. Also, there is one article I have quoted here. They say you need to be very cautious while using these water baths and this compartment for your sterilization and disinfection purposes. So water needs to be changed between patients in the tempering compartment. Tray to be packed in a plastic prior to be tried into the patient's mouth. Addition of iodophor to water of the tempering bath can also be done, and we need to temper the hydrocolloid in the tube, thus transferring the material from the tube to the tray without contacting the water. Then coming to our irreversible hydrocolloids. This we all use in our UG, in our PGs. This is the most used material, I feel, your alginate. So let's talk about it. So the basic constituents of alginate would be soluble salt of alginic acid, calcium sulfate, dihydrate, trisodium phosphate, and glycols. Your filler particles, diatomaceous earth or silicate powder, other salts like potassium sulfate, potassium, titanium fluoride, silicates, flavoring agents, pigments. To provide the color, chemical indicators, like for the chromatic ones, there would be change in color. So for that, chemical indicators could be added. So the setting of alginate hydrochloride is a process of cross-linking your alginic acids with calcium ions. The alginic acid is basically your brown seaweed. It is a linear copolymer of your beta D manuronic acid and alpha L glucuronic acid. So manuronic and glucuronic acids are epimers. It is known that the block structure within the alginic acid can be varying significantly. So alginates with higher glucuronic acid levels normally show a stronger interaction with calcium and yield a stronger and greater gel strength. So you can remember this also extra. So basically a typical sol gel reaction is happening here. The soluble alginate with calcium ions forms calcium sulfate, and there is a formation of insoluble calcium alginate. So calcium ions replace the sodium and the potassium ions of the two adjacent molecules to produce a cross-linked complex polymer network, and then the production of calcium alginate is so rapid that it does not allow sufficient working time. A water-soluble phosphate salt like your trisodium phosphate is added to the composition as a retarder to extend your working time due to this. The strategy is that the calcium ions will react preferentially with your phosphate ions in the solution. Thus, the rapid reaction between your calcium ions and your soluble alginate is deferred until phosphate ions from your trisodium phosphate are exhausted. The amount of retarder is adjusted to provide the proper setting time by the manufacturer, and a similar gelation process is expected with the modified alginate product. So here I have shown the easier version of all of this, what I have said. You can even make this in your papers. So this is basically the same explanation. Then according to the setting time, it can be further classified as type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is your fast set, type 2 is your regular set. So the mixing time varies, like in their fast set it is 45 seconds, in your regular set it is about 60 seconds. And your working time is about 1.25 to 2 minutes in your fast set and 3 minutes in your regular set. So your fast set basically can be used for children and other problematic patients, some people who are having gag problems, etc., so that we can be a little faster. And the other one can be used routinely. Then coming to the properties, strength, it is time dependent again here. Greater at high rate of loading, it is almost the same as your agar. Then your compression strength is different from that. You can learn it up. So the factors which affect strength would be your water powder ratio, your mixing time, your composition. Then flexibility, it is 11 to 15%. Permanent deformation can be reduced by the bulk of the material. So about 3 mm of the material thickness should be present to avoid deformation. The dimensional stability, in air it loses water and shrinks. In water, that is your syneresis. In water it absorbs water and swells, so imbibition. So basically it needs to be stored in 100% relative humidity, and then it can be kept for about 1 hour also, but not more than that. If so, you have to pour it immediately, otherwise. Shelf life deteriorates with elevated temperatures. So compatibility with gypsum products. This is another article which says that surface compatibility of gypsum with alginate can be improved if calcium sulfate reactor is replaced. In place of sodium alginate, triethylamine alginate could be used. By this exudate, sodium sulfate is not formed, so this helps. Then coming to disinfection. Some alginates have been made which are impregnated with your antimicrobial compounds like your diazetyl aluminum chloride. It is self-sterilizing impression material, and but it is not widely available, and I do not know the success about this. So this was quoted long back that it was made back then, but right now what we follow is the same again, that we can use 2% glutaraldehyde, or we can use iodophos after rinsing it with water once, and then we can pour our impressions immediately after. Then coming to your manipulation. So coming to your manipulation or your preparation of the alginate impression material. So a proper mixture of water and powder is very essential. It has to be measured. So the powder is added slowly to the pre-measured water that has been poured into a clean bowl. That is the correct method. The powder is to be incorporated into the water by carefully mixing with a metal or plastic spatula that is sufficiently flexible to adapt well to the walls of the. I think there was some network error. So coming to your manipulation, basically your correct water powder ratio is very essential. You have to add your pre-measured powder to your pre-measured water that is to be put into a bowl, and then you have to use a plastic or metal spatula that is sufficiently flexible to adapt your material to the walls. Because basically in alginate we have to use a figure of eight motion and rub our material against the wall. Then your trays to be used are perforated trays, rim lock trays. Adhesives can be used before putting the material like methyl cellulose. They help while we are taking out the impression from the patient's mouth. It doesn't get be attached to the tray. Then coming to your laminate technique. Laminate technique is your agar-alginate combination impression technique. So the syringe material is agar. It is injected around the preparation, and then a chilled alginate mixture is used as your tray material. So the advantage of this would be more accurate surface reproduction is achieved by agar. Agar is more compatible with gypsum. Elimination of water and cooled impression trays, and the materials and the whole thing with the agar can be avoided if we use this method.